Hello and welcome to this video review of F1 2019. I've been playing the base PlayStation 4 version and also the Xbox One X version, so you'll be seeing clips from each in this review. Now, I'm focusing on the main game here, which is the Anniversary Edition, as I already reviewed the Legends Edition's Senna and Prost content separately, so stick around at the end of the video for the link to that. Now, Career Mode is the meat of the experience here, and it's simply the best it's ever been. You even get to start in Formula 2, completing 3 story scenarios which introduce you to some of the new drivers you'll be racing alongside as you all get promoted into Formula 1. There is a full 2018 F2 season available separately if you fancy it, but the F1 Careers Formula 2 content is just this taster. Even so, it introduces you to the excellent rivalry system even before it becomes official, as you're asked to move over for your faster teammate.
Again, your teammate wants to pass you. You don't want to drop a position, but without your turbo, he's the best one to challenge for points further up the field. If you hold Lucas up, you could be denying the team points.
And you're also given an arrogant punk of a racer to beat to the championship win.
You've got a fighting chance of winning next year, and if you can manage that, I'm sure one of the larger teams would love to have you as a development driver.
At previous stage, I was unconvinced when they showed off these cutscenes, but I must say I'm actually sold on it having played it now. It doesn't matter that the characters are as deep as a Silverstone puddle, racing games thrive on rivalries, and F1 2019 clearly recognises this. And so, as you start your career, your teammate becomes your immediate rival, so for me, in the Xbox version, that was Sebastian Vettel at Ferrari, and you're rated against him in qualifying, race results, and fastest lap comparisons, all weighing on your position within the team. After a couple of races, you can then add a second rival, which is usually where your F2 buddies will start to feature prominently again. It's interesting to see modern-day stars like Charles Leclerc getting left out of the roster in favour of a fictional character, but I actually like it. And you can race a separate, accurately rostered Formula 1 championship if that's what you want. Leclerc does indeed deserve some spotlight, I'm sure you'll agree. The development tests return, asking you to complete various challenges during the practice sessions, all with the aim of teaching you how to drive the tracks well, conserving your fuel, your tyres, and your energy retrieval system, all of which are important considerations for a modern F1 driver and, of course, you. Now, if that all sounds boring to you, then you might not enjoy the career mode as much as just sticking on a championship of short races on newbie difficulty settings, but if that's your thing, you should still have a good time. Not a superlative time, I must say, there are better arcade races, but it's still a decent representation of Formula 1 on the newbie settings. But what really sets F1 2019 apart from its four-wheeled racing rivals is how all of the intricate details of Formula 1 fit into the main gameplay in the races proper. I've had some astonishingly tense races, like this one in China, where I used my ERS and fuel mixture settings to get ahead at the start, make my scheduled pit stop, and then conserve energy during the middle stint, recharging my battery and getting my fuel tank in better shape, which then allowed me to fend off Vettel's advances in the closing stages and take the win. It was made all the sweeter because he was my teammate, so I also won the rivalry challenge this way.
Just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
All of this careful management of subsystems can make it feel like you're piloting an airplane instead of driving a racing car, but the bottom line is, after 10 years now, Codemasters has managed to implement each of these different mechanics into the overall experience, and the result really is exquisite. Also exquisite is the 60 frames per second game engine, which looks beautiful on everything from the base PS4 through to the Xbox One X. The replays are still only 30 frames per second though, which is a little jarring, but they look even more photorealistic than last year, and it really is approaching broadcast quality. This is particularly evident in the scenes surrounding the races, where Crofty and Anthony Davidson natter on about different aspects of the race weekend, while you play Spot the Race Driver with the pretty decent 3D likenesses. The wet weather effects are amazing, as you can see, and the car handling in the wet is really well weighted. It's a very slippery experience, but not one that sees you spinning at every corner. It's just difficult to drive, or rather, difficult to drive quickly. So that really works well from a gameplay point of view. And again, it's just another example of a decade's worth of tweaking the formula to perfect the gameplay. One of the most impressive features is the quality of the AI. So the computer-controlled drivers will make defensive moves, they'll squeeze through any gap if you leave enough room for them, and simply don't give up when you get alongside them. Even more decades worth of racing games would tell me that getting inside a car at a turn should be enough to make them yield, but not here. Indeed, they'd rather lose an end plate on their front wing than give up a position, which makes for really hard-fought races. The AI drivers are fallible too, and I can't describe the feeling of glee at seeing Vettel parked at the side of the track when he was winning in the rivalry stakes. They're also very canny when it comes to using their own engine modes and ERS deployment, and they'll turn up the boost at the start of the race and when they want to catch and pass you, which, again, means you need to be careful to conserve these systems whenever you get the chance. There are invitational events, again, scattered through the career mode, where you can drive more classic F1 cars, but while you can compete in classic races themselves, the grids can be full of the same model of car, so you could have a load of McLaren MP44s, which is a bit strange. And of course the Senna and Prost content, while decent, is a premium extra. Without it, you don't lose much in terms of gameplay, only the prestige of that particular license. But honestly, I do think it should have been included in the basic package. In terms of down points, there are very few left to complain about. The career mode is very similar to last year's in terms of what you actually do, and the damage model, while still perfectly functional in terms of what it does during gameplay, is still underwhelming, and the back wings still don't break off, which is frankly ludicrous. It is cool to see tyre marks though on your side pod after a close battle, especially in the post-race replays and new highlights reels. F1 fans will always find something to complain about, it's always the way. It won't be simmy enough for some people, the cars rarely get properly airborne during crashes, there's no in-race commentary, though the pit radio is plenty nattery enough so you won't feel alone, and the story cutscenes do stop rather abruptly as you enter F1. But considering the game does everything else so incredibly well, I have absolutely no hesitation in awarding it 5 stars. Now, I don't do half stars on my channel, just so you know, this is just my wholehearted recommendation. It's the best modern Formula 1 game. So thanks very much for watching. Remember, there's the full review of the Senna and Prost Legends content for you to check out, as well as a crashes montage and a daft documentary spoof about Suzuka 90. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.